My name is Lovepreet Singh. My student ID is 2346824. Now I'm going to talk about the notes. Secondary socialization is a lifelong process. It will goes on like until the last day of our life. We are doing primary socialization and we keep on learning by our work organization that we go and go interactions with everybody in our society for whole life. So the secondary socialization is continues until the last breath of our life. Primary socialization is during very early childhood, although it is like 5 years only, but it is the more influential on our personality. Because the things that people learn during very early childhood gets internalized into their personality because it observes in their personality and it's become their habit. In sociology, we are learning about that nurture is more powerful than nature. When we talk about human beings, if we talk about animals, nature is more powerful than nurture. So, for example, non-humans in general, the instinct, the main thing that is the driver of a human being creatures on a newly born kitten, for example, and we are taking a photo and all of the pics in our portfolio, then we separate it in from any interaction like a because it's a newborn baby and we stopped it interaction and less the interactions from new humans and their cats to save it. Like the peer group is very important. The family members are also first teachers in our life. In the schools, there is a curriculum and hidden curriculum. For example, if school is making the students more organized, it's a hidden curriculum. While structure functionalism finds that schools are doing very good and best work to equipping necessary skills to students because it helps them to get better jobs according to their skills in their hand and they help them so much. So the conflict theory is looking at the matter. They focus on we are like the social equalities, how the upper class is benefiting from agents of socialization to increase their power. In addition, different theories have different views about the society and how we are getting prepared for imagining ourselves for future. That's called the anticipatory socialization. When we are just following that category that is made by same authority, we are not choosing what to do and what not to do. That's called a total institution. Conflict theory is a part of critical sociology when we focus on superego, ego, and that's all. Which people have superego, they don't get social respect, but it rebel them. The post-conventional believes in morality in universal forms by saying fear and it's not fear. The post conventional is more about adults, not all adults, but some adults. In class, we are talked about Charles Coley, George Robert, and Turpin Goffman, and also some democratic developmental behavior. If we are talking about ID, biological desire like food, if it affects the society and their own society. Ego, they don't want to do anything which harm their status by showing uncontrolled. Superego, the values, things like we learn in primary socialization. In the first video, they were talking about the changes in the past 60 years, how the psychologists think about parenting. In the 1950s, researchers were still trying to figure out whether children bonded with their caregivers. American Harry Harlow isolate use monkeys from a young age and we use in their studies. And he did his research. He noticed that the young monkeys, like the young macaques, seemed to really like the cloth blankets that covered the floors of their cages. He spent a lot of time with them, clutching them like security blankets and a stimulus response sort of thing. On the other side, there was a psychologist named John Bowlby who thought, among other things, Harlow thought the monkeys might be getting the sense of comfort from the blankets. He designed an experiment to test it using two objects that would act as a surrogate mothers. One made of wire and wood, and the another one is made of like a soft cloth, which is used to where it feels very soft. His researchers supported that the idea that the monkeys had emotional needs for their mothers. His next move would be to stop doing studies. Unfortunately, his next move was to do studies that extended that isolation. He isolated monkeys using a kind of a vertical chamber and for up to a year after they were born. The experiments have to be approved by a reviewed, like when we upload something and it needs to be approved by a company or organization. There might have been some scientific value early on. But even if you give a Harlow the benefit of the doubt when it comes to his first study, he didn't seem to learn the lessons of his own license research. That these monkey had emotional needs. In the second video, they mostly talked about the toddler who is being read of bedtime story. It's also be something that you have common with the kids in the breakfast club, as well as with the soldier going through boot camp. Everybody is surrounded by people in our society and become of a part that. And the social process through which we develop our social personality and human potential, learn about our society, and increase our knowledge, like mom, dad, grandparents, whoever you are living with, is pretty much your entire social world. uh, like uh, because our family in the source of known as primary socialization, our first experience with the languages, the games they play, we are, the books that we read, all provide we for us, like a French sociologist, Pierre Bourdieu, and called cultural capital. Uh, the presence of books in our home is associated with the children's to help them to doing well in school. In the home is gender socialization that starts in the home. It's called the race socialization is the process through which children learn the behavior, values, norms, and the traditions, attitudes associated with the racial groups. It's all the result of what parents teach just their children, because it helps them to get engaged in there. And they were also talked about cafe and crash course, free for everyone. In the last video, we learned about nature versus nurture. Human behavior is influenced by both nature and nurture. Uh, they talked about the effects of social isolation. The case studies like a Kingsley Davis study on show that lack of a human interaction in early years uh, affects language and our confidence, and also in our society. Theories of development. Theories of development. The name of the psychologist, uh, Freud's theory, personality develops through the ID, ego, and superego. And they talked about a lifelong socialization at the end. The socialization doesn't stop in the childhood, it's going on with us. And because it helps to bring more expectations in an adulthood, childhood, and every age For example, the work relationship, and we are expecting the work more be good. Thank you so much, sir.